This is exercise 2.62 in your workbook, Keys to Teaching Grammar to English Language Learners. So in exercise 2.62 on page 66, you have to identify whether a verb is transitive or intransitive in this sentence, not in a dictionary. So we're looking for actual usage here. So let's start. A man walked down the street to the bus stop. Well, down the street is a prepositional phrase, and to the bus stop is a prepositional phrase. So there is no object. There's no noun object after walked. There's no direct object, therefore it's an intransitive verb. A woman was sitting on the bench, also intransitive, because on the bench is a prepositional phrase. She was reading a newspaper. Well, she was reading something. That's a transitive verb. And a small dog was lying on the sidewalk in front of her. On the sidewalk in front of her. Two prepositional phrases. So was lying is going to be an intransitive verb. As the man sat down on the bench. Sat, there's no noun. So that's going to be an intransitive verb. The woman looked up at him. Also an intransitive verb. There's no noun. And the man smiled. Period. Well, because it's a period, there's nothing. Not only is there no noun, there's nothing. That's definitely going to be an intransitive verb. The woman started reading the newspaper again. So reading the newspaper is a noun. It's an action. It's the name of that action. And she started that action, so started here is going to be a transitive verb in this case. After a few minutes, he asked the woman, "Does your dog bite?" He asked what? He didn't ask. The woman's not the direct object. The woman is an indirect object. The direct object is, does your dog bite? So asked is actually going to be a transitive verb here. Does your dog bite? Your dog, this question, does your dog bite, comes from the statement, your dog bites, with a period. So in that case, bites here is going to be an intransitive verb. The woman turned the page. She turned something. She turned page is a direct object, therefore turned is going to be a transitive verb. And answered no. She answered no. She answered, and there's what she answered. What did she answer? No. So in that case, number 12, answered is going to be a transitive verb. Number 13, the man reached down, reached, intransitive verb, and petted a dog. Petted what? Petted a dog. That's a transitive verb. And the dog bit him. Transitive verb. Definitely, because there's a receiver of the action here. The dog did something and the person received it. All right. The dog bit him. The man jumped away from the dog. Jumped. Nope. There's no noun there. And from the dog is a prepositional phrase. Remember, you can always eliminate prepositional phrases. Of course, they are important to the meaning of the sentence, but when you're trying to analyze grammar, just put, I teach students to, when you're confused, it's a long sentence that looks kind of convoluted, just take a pencil or pen and put parentheses around each prepositional phrase and then mentally cover it up, or just throw it out, cut it out. And that will help you see the real grammar, the real structure of that sentence. So in this case, the man jumped. That's going to jumped away from. There's no noun. That's going to be an intransitive verb. And shouted at the woman. Shouted at the woman. We have no noun after shouted. You say, well, what about woman? That's at the woman. Prepositional phrase. So that shout is going to be an intransitive verb. I thought that you said, I thought something. So I thought all this stuff, and it tells what the person thought. Therefore, in this case, thought is going to be a transitive verb here. I thought that you said your dog didn't bite. So your dog didn't bite is everything you said. That's a big noun. In that case, said here is going to be a transitive verb. Didn't bite will be an intransitive verb because there's no noun after it. The woman turned another page of the newspaper. Turned will again be a transitive verb because what did she turn? A page, another page. Then she paused, comma, looked directly up at the man and answered. She paused. Pause has nothing after it. That's an intransitive verb. Looked up at the man. There's no noun. Directly is an adverb of manner. That gets thrown away also. So looked is going to be an intransitive verb. And answered, blah, blah, blah. Well, we have the answer. We have exactly what she answered. Therefore, 24, answer will be an intransitive verb. But then 25, that's not my dog. That is. The verb to be, am, is, are, was, were, have been, had been. The verb to be is always an intransitive verb because it just connects. So for example, George Washington was the president. George Washington was the president. So if you can take out the verb and put an equal sign, George Washington equals the president, in that case, there's not a president is not the direct object. A noun after the verb to be, for example, I am a professor. I is the subject, am a professor is the predicate, am is your verb, but a professor is not a direct object. There are no direct objects after the verb to be, because intransitive verbs, and the verb to be is always intransitive verbs are not followed by a direct object. Direct objects, if they occur after a transitive verb. In fact, that's what makes it transitive, that the action goes from the subject to this object that's sitting there. All right. That was exercise 2.62. I hope you have a better grasp of what a transitive and an intransitive verb is. Later in this course, we'll see why those labels would be important in when you're trying to help your students with advanced writing or even just intermediate level writing in English. Okay? Exercise 2.62, I hope you did pretty well on that.